Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, welcome back. Today we have here, top right spawning as the blue Terran player, sending his first SCV across the map. It's going to be Spirit. And in the bottom left spawning as the red Protoss player, it's going to be ShoWTimE playing for team BIG, Berlin International Gaming. Spirit plays for Kaisi, Chinese team. I think he's the only European player that plays for Kaisi. There were rumors before that MaxPax might join Kaisi, but for whatever reason that fell through. And it's only Spirit right now as a European in that team. I think he has Time and Solar as teammates. And their Spirit. I think there might be one more that I'm forgetting right now, but it's not as not a prolific player, not as high level as the other three. Here we have good old ShoWTimE, also known as The Wall, known for his defensive capabilities, not only in the early and mid game, but also in the late game. Very solid, very passive often, but systematic as well, and making sure that he can get the job done at any stage of the game. He scouts his opponent, sees two gases, sees a complete lack of a barracks, and now I'm curious to see what his response is going to be. It looks like he wanted to go for a Nexus before core, but rather than that, he now just goes for a core before Nexus. We'll see a pylon go down on the low ground here as well. So we see Sol actually opening up with a proxy Marauder here. Or it's a proxy Reaper with a tech lab. It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, it's going to be Marauder. So, concussive shell on the way. This could be an issue for ShoWTimE if ShoWTimE doesn't realize that something like this is happening. And if he doesn't get a battery. And the most common thing to get is indeed a Stalker here. If you're ShoWTimE. Gives you a little bit of extra range in case it is a Reaper. It helps against potential bunkers behind mineral lines or bunkers anywhere else. We actually do see him move downstairs practically immediately. Now sees the Marauder. Concussive is about to finish up. Double batteries are on the way. We see a decently sized pro pool as well coming in here. We'll see if this is going to be good enough here for ShoWTimE as a response. I think this might just be fine. The bunker is not going to get finished. These probes can soon go back home once this battery on the low ground finishes up. Not a single probe is gonna go down, and second battery can even get cancelled here. Although sometimes it might just be better to finish it up anyway. And we do see that ending up happening. Just in case your opponent continues building Marauders or you're afraid of like a Cyclone follow-up, second battery could be very helpful. Of course, there's no tech whatsoever yet here for ShoWTimE. Kind of meaning that he's going to be very late with that, whatever it's going to be. Almost feels like it needs to be either Twilight or Robo at this point. So I get a second gate before tech still. He's floating a crap ton of gas as well. It's not going to be capable of spending that on anything useful anytime soon. This is honestly a little bit surprising to me. Just the fact that he hasn't really gotten anything yet. Okay, now comes down the Robo Bay. But actually, or the robotics facility. That makes the most sense to me. Because with the robotics facility, you don't care so much about the timing of the Robo. It's more important that you have units in position and that that observer is out by the time your opponent starts either mine dropping you or start sending banshees across the map. Blink at this point would be so late that it would almost have no purpose. I'm genuinely a big fan of this opening here. Even do a battery in the main base as well. ShoWTimE is playing this very safe, overly safe almost. 3 Marauders gonna start moving across the map. 2 mines in a medevac. It's an armory? It actually is an armory. So we're gonna see continued mine drops here. Coming out of the Polish Terran player. With the robotics facility, I think ShoWTimE is going to be just fine. These Marauders might actually get lifted into the main base. And now this battery is gonna come in use. That's really cool. I guess that ShoWTimE kind of anticipated this. Here come the 2 mines as well. 1 Marauder is going to get taken out. Mine drop into the main base. And these mines are going to get, well, 2 probe kills. And I guess that mine can just get out with this medevac. There is an area here where it can hide. Second medevac is out already, but isn't being sent on the map yet. Ooh, that's kind of tricky. So there is a robotics facility. This doesn't actually work. Second medevac is now on the map, and this observer is going to spot that. So ShoWTimE is aware of the fact that there's continued mine drops coming his way. Second barracks rather than a third CC. Means that Stim is going to be a little bit faster. Also means that the eco is going to be a bit weaker. Most likely we do need to see some type of damage here coming from Spirit. If no damage will be done here, ShoWTimE might just have a free chance of winning the game when his first 2 Colossi are popped out. This thing is gonna most likely die without any real consequences to the probe line. Yeah, ends up not really losing all that much. So far 4 workers and a stalker have been lost, and on the side of Spirit 5 mines, 3 marauders and an SCV as well. Here comes the first medevac on that long list of units. On top of that, the natural command center was delayed by a long time. So not only is Spirit behind in the units lost, but he's also just naturally behind in the economy because he delayed his natural CC by so much. We do see a very late 3rd base as well here for ShoWTimE. It's actually going to be going into a Colossi drop or a Disruptor drop. No, it's going to be a Colossi drop. Something we don't really see very often, especially against factory openers. I'm kind of surprised that we do. Forge Twilight on the way now as well. The infrastructure of ShoWTimE isn't all that big. I mean, we're on 2 gateways. We have 4 different tech structures. A Robo Bay, a Forge, a Twilight and a robotics facility. Now 2 extra gates are coming down as well. It's a lot of early tech and not a whole lot of probes yet, as that 3rd base really was quite delayed. Spirit once again is going to be going for a bit of a mine drop. We also have a mine heading towards the 4th base right now. No, ShoWTimE barely misses that. Well, actually does barely see it. Now comes the mine drop. Just kind of idling in between the natural and the 3rd base. You also have a triple mine drop close by to the main base. A bunch of stalkers are in position. Let's take a look at this Colossi drop, see if that's going to be capable of doing anything. At the same time, I'm keeping an eye on the minimap, making sure that nothing funky is going on over there. See this Colossi starting to fight these SCVs. First 2 SCVs go down. Marines not gonna get taken to the funeral home just yet. Hey, this is decent harassment, but this is not game changing, right? Losing 2-3 workers to a Colossi drop 7 minutes in. I'm starting to wonder whether this prism speed and this investment into this was truly worth it. I mean, you are delaying basically thermal lands, you're delaying more Colossi. We actually see he went just for a single Colossi drop into Storm, Charge and +1 attack. So it's kind of like a fake Colossi drop at this point. Like it's a real Colossi being dropped, but it isn't a real Colossi build order. He's going straight into to Storm and that type of crap. And ShoWTimE is well aware that there is a... It feels like he isn't aware of the fact that there's a medevac here. I mean, he should have seen it because this pylon spotted it, but there's no units in position in the natural. There's no real units in position in the 3rd either. There's no cannon in the 3rd. There's no cannon in the natural. We have the 3rd CC flying over here for Spirit, who's opting for a passive approach with a bunch of tanks, bunker on the low ground as well. Starts a bit of a wall. Here comes the mine drop. Let's see, take a look how that is going to end up going here. As pretty decently sized hits there. 10 workers go down in the natural. A couple more workers gonna go down in the main base as well. 20 workers falling within a couple of seconds. That's a big deal. And although the early game for ShoWTimE went very well, this is a painful start of the mid game. I don't think this cannon is going to finish in time, by the way. These mines might just get a second shot. Now, Observer's gonna get in there. Oh, it's gonna save this second mine as well. So this medevac also gets to stay alive. And feedback should be capable of at least somewhat fixing this problem. What? Now you just wait another minute and then this medevac is absolutely dead. Adios out of this world. +2 attack is being chrono boosted right now for ShoWTimE, but this damage was big and this damage was very necessary as Spirit needed some type of win. 4 CC immediately on the way as well, where I can't quite see. Okay, it's going to be on the high ground here. It's perhaps thinking of this as his 4th base rather than the more standard, well, kind of, what is this formation? Okay, like a semi-line with a triangle in it. I don't know what this is. Maybe sure how to describe this 4th base in this one. The 12 o'clock. There we go. Figured it out again. A bunch of zealots positioned at the 4th base. ShoWTimE's expansion pattern, or the timing of his expansion, has been really slow as well this game. For how free he has been in this game, and how much he has been abusing his freedom when it comes to tech and high value units. I mean, this is an army consisting of freaking 4 Templar with Storm, a Prism with speed, a Colossi, 2 Archons, and 2 Immortals. Like, this is a very high value army. Actually, compared to Sol's army, it isn't even that high value. Yeah, Sol also has a pretty high value army with lots of tanks, huh? So many medevacs, actually. But yeah, it feels like for how much ShoWTimE has invested in his army and his tech, he hasn't really invested that much into his eco. Finally, 10 minutes in, he's going to go up to 76 workers, take a 4th base. His main is basically mined out. His natural is about to lose a couple of patches as well. So the 5th base is going to be a necessity soon if he wants to continue mining off of 75, 76 workers. Going all the way up to 81 workers off of 4 base 10 minutes in. He's just going to be extremely oversaturated here. The moment this natural is about to empty these patches, I mean, we're going to get 8 more probes that need to find a home, and they're not going to be capable of finding a home. That's why we need a 5th base soon. Salad here does spot the potential 4th base. ShoWTimE is so afraid of moving out, and I'm not quite sure why. He has had the ability to be on the map, to have map control for the past 5 to 6 minutes, 7 minutes maybe even. He just hasn't been taking it, perhaps still afraid of drops. Now he's going to start pushing forward. Good scan out of Spirit. He's going to see what's going on here. I'm curious to know what Spirit thinks is in that prison, because of course he can know that there's Templar in there, but he did see some Templar feedbacking earlier. Of course these can have turned into Archons. It's impossible to tell at this point. There's a couple of Vikings out. There's 4 Ghosts as well, and we even have the enhanced Shockwave upgrade here for the Ghost, which means that the EMP is going to have a massive radius. You accidentally click the EMP on the screen and you EMP the entire army, is how I've had it described to me before. That's kind of true. Very large radius. Sensor tower is barely... No, he is spotting this. Oh, he's just going for the base trade. This is something that Spirit loves to do. Whenever he feels like he's not in a winning position, he tries forcing out base trades. Gets a decent EMP here, pulls away his workers immediately. And often just knowing that there's going to be a base trade is a big plus. He's also very experienced in these scenarios because he just absolutely loves doing them. We don't have a tank on the high ground yet though. Liberators are in production right now, which is going to be very useful. More depots are on the way. We have a bit of a supply block here. Probes are going down already, while on the other side, not a single SCV. Well, 3 SCVs have gone down, but that isn't quite it. Disruptors are coming home, missing basically all of their shots. +2 finishing up here on the infantry weapons. It's so important right now for ShoWTimE to get up this ramp as soon as possible. If he can stop the production in the main base, that would be huge. But ShoWTimE actually says, no, that's not what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going home, or yes, gets the recall into the main base. We have a bunch of these disruptors in the back. Tanks are going to get taken out. 4 tanks, just boom, like that. Good storm here on top of this army as well. Spirit needs to be so careful. He's not really microing whatsoever. Does end up getting a decent chunk of this army down, but also loses a lot of his own army. A lot of the Colossi have fallen, and these medevacs do stay alive. Army supply is genuinely still kind of close. If this base goes down, that would be a huge deal. This was the drop from the start, by the way. These 8 Marines got elevated there. They've been working hard, but they don't manage to quite succeed in taking out that base. That's a big deal, because this is the only mining base that ShoWTimE still has. I mean, there's 4 patches in the main. There's maybe some long distance mining going on over here. This Viking is going to land. If Spirit manages to survive for another minute and a half, what? No, don't get there. What? Why would you do that? No, we don't need... He doesn't need to expand at all. He just needs to survive. He has this fully mining base. He has way more command centers than his opponent. The only thing that Spirit really needs to do at this point is try to stay alive, and honestly, that shouldn't even be that difficult of a task. With the Liberators that he has, with the Ghost, and with pretty decent upgrades. 2-2 about to finish up against 2-1 upgrades. I mean, he's up in upgrades. It's going to be +3 soon, though, and that's going to be a little bit annoying. But I actually think this is a good position here for Spirit. 55 workers against 32. Outmining his opponent by a fair chunk. Hello, can we get a pickup? Oh my good lord. That was a huge disruptor hit there. We got another big disruptor hit. No. Is there range on these lips? There is not either. It's not like it's not like ShoWTimE can just walk up this main base, right? It's just not possible with how Terran works. Like, production is just gonna take that out most likely. Especially if there's like either a Liberator or a tank, or in this case both up there. Yeah, good luck getting up the ramp, my friend. Depots are gonna get taken out by these Disruptors, which is something of a win, I guess. With these EMPs, these Disruptors do need to be kind of careful. More Zealots are being moved forward. 4 Marauders, 5 Marines in production. We still have way superior... Oh, pick up! Good pickup. Very good pickup. Another Disruptor goes down. Yeah, we have way superior production and superior income here for Spirit, but that is quickly changing as more Nexi are going down. We have a... well, what is this? A fort base, I guess? It's all in wonky positions, but... Oh, wait, he also has this one. I didn't even see that. It's a weird type of game. Oh, Spirit also is aware of the fact that there's a base there. Needs to scan or EMP. Goes for the EMP and gets that Dark Templar. Stargate now is being constructed here for ShoWTimE. I have no clue what this Stargate is for. Just absolutely no idea whatsoever. Perhaps wants to go into some low eco Tempest, but that just doesn't really make any sense to me. So I'm just extremely curious what he wants to do. We have another DT being sent into the main base, and that's cool because there's only a single orbital command, meaning that every single time a DT enters somewhere, that a ghost needs to come to EMP or a scan needs to be used, and there's really not that many scans. The only reason why Spirit was out mining his opponent was because he had like triple the amount of workers. At this point, that party is pretty much over, and as ShoWTimE does have good saturation across bases, Spirit actually needs to start doing something, and he immediately does start doing something. He starts moving on the map. Now ShoWTimE does see a bunch of reinforcements coming in here. This DT is one-shotting these Marines. Good scan, but this does alert ShoWTimE to the fact there was some type of army on the map. Why else would there be 4 Marines and a ghost heading in some long forgotten road? Oh. Ends up losing 2 Marauders there, but the Disruptors now are empty. Liberators could start pushing forward. The speed at which this is happening isn't the highest. Big storm hitting, oh my god. So actually not really controlling his units here whatsoever. He's gonna end up losing a... Oh. A Marine there. You have 4 Templar in this prism and might be able to eventually burst down this Liberator. ShoWTimE's actually looking for an engagement here, and he might just be getting what he wants. This is a sizable army here for ShoWTimE. I'm just trying to pick up some reinforcements right now. And here goes Spirit. Wants to start pushing forward. He scans the army, realizes most likely we're going to go into a second base trade scenario. And this time around though, there's lots of Templars in a little prism, which is going to be very annoying. There's still a decent amount of medevacs, but with only a single orbital command, scans are not going to be that plentiful here, which means that DTs can be extremely useful in this scenario. On top of that, ShoWTimE also has a lot of money in the bank, which probably will allow him to reinforce a lot quicker than his opponent. I actually think that Sol might just be kind of dead here. He does take out one base, but is losing all of his production. ShoWTimE is... well, is he still flying around with that prism? No, it's going to be an Archon. There's once again a Templar in there. We still have the top left side base as well. And the problem here for Spirit is that he isn't even aware of this right side base. Walking over here will take too long. By the time that Spirit even gets to all of these mining bases, his entire main base is going to be gone. And once his production is dead, I mean, there's really nothing left here for Spirit. He can't rebuild the production because his army is so much smaller. He can't defend that outside production whatsoever. I think Spirit is just a little bit lost here. 146 supply against 94 as these buildings are floating away. Spirit tries to take out this base. We have another Templar coming in with well, hopefully a storm soon. A lot of units are being produced on this outside base. Kind of this outpost just waiting for his opponent to start moving forward. And I mean, this army is just a little bit too small. There's not a single scan here. EMPs will be the only way of detecting these DTs. And right now there's not a single ghost with EMP available. We have a Stormer in this prism as well. We have this Planetary gonna get taken out. And Spirit just seems extremely dead at this point. Base plus 14 SCVs down the drain. DT still working on this army. Here comes the Storm. Here comes the Blink forward. It's absolutely over. Not gonna see the Storm. GG gets called and ShoWTimE wins this game here on Hardwire. Exciting base trade there. If you did enjoy, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hopefully see you all next time for a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.